Okay, so now we are going to discuss interim updates and annual assessments. Now you'll see that you have an entry exit here for your project, Rhode Island Family Shelter, or whatever your project is. You see the type is HUD and you see the project start date. Now there's two types of updates we do after the project start date. So remember, everything collected as of February 7th, 2019 is collected in here. Okay, so we want to look at this like a timeline. We don't want to change any of this information. Of course, we want to fix information if it was wrong. However, we don't want to change anything here. We want to track progress doing interim updates. Now, interim updates are done anytime there's a change in income, non-cash benefits, or health insurance. Okay, those are done every time a client reports any of those changes to you. Annual assessments are done the exact same way. It asks for income, non-cash benefits, and health insurance, but it is required to be done 365 days after the project start date. So, and that's 30 days before or 30 days after that date. So technically, this annual assessment is not due until February 7th, 2020. But however, we are going to pretend as if George reported a change to us. So we're going to do an interim update. Now, again, we don't change anything here. There's no exit date because the client still entered in our project. What we want to do is under interims, we click on this interim review. Okay, and now we see there's no current or previous interim reviews, so we're going to add one. We're going to see that this is only for George. One of our videos, we did exit Gina from our household and entry exit. So we're just going to say this is just for George. And now interim review type. These are the differences. So we don't use 30, 60, 90, or 120 day reviews. Do not use these. We use annual assessment, which is, like I said, 1 year after project entry, or an update. Again, anytime income, non-cash benefits, or health insurance changes, we do an update. Annual assessment, even if nothing's changed, we still have to do one. So we would just click annual assessment and on 2/7/2020, save and continue, make sure everything's still correct. There were no data entry errors, and then exit. However, we're going to say there was an update. And now review date. So we're going to say that George reported this change in his income to me on February 20th. And now notice I do not need to go into backdate mode because I'm changing the date here. Anything captured in the interim update as of this date will reflect as of that date. There's no need to go into backdate mode for this. So if on 2/20/2019 George reported changes to me, I click Save and Continue. And now it's going to take you to this screen that looks similar to the entry exit screen, only it's missing all of the previous questions. So we're going to say George's monthly income changed. So for now, we're going to show that he is also getting SSDI. So if we recall, we click next through here, we see George is getting $755 of SSI. He's reported to us that he's gotten $30 more of SSDI. So the first thing you'd want to do is make sure this is answered. If this isn't answered, you want to go back to your entry and change that because this client location should always be answered at project start. Remember, there's no other option, only one. Just make sure that's answered. Total monthly income now is changing. It's not $755 anymore, so we're going to erase that. And now since he said he got $30, it'd be $785 per month. Income from any source is going to remain yes, that did not change. He's still getting SSI of $755 as of February 7th. That has not changed. So we're going to leave that alone. What we're going to first do is we're going to look for SSDI by going through these. And we see that on February 7th, he said no, he did not have SSDI. So we're going to click the pencil next to the SSDI. And now we see that on February 7th, he did not have SSDI. I do not change that. All I need to do is make sure that I add an end date for the day before he reported this to me. Because on 2/7/2019, he did not have SSDI. So we're going to end this no by adding an end date of the day before our update, which was 2/2019. So the end date is going to be 2019. And then we click Save. And now we see this red HUD verification. That's telling us something is not answered. So we added an end date for SSDI for no, which means there is no yes or no for SSDI without an end date. So we're going to click on HUD verification. And now it's going to say, okay, you ended SSDI. Does George now have it? Yes or no? We're going to put yes. And the monthly amount, remember, is $30. And we're going to leave the start date as of the date he reported it to us, regardless if he started receiving it a few days before. We're going to leave the end date open because for now he's still receiving this. And we click Save and Exit. And now we want to double check that we did that correctly. So the first thing we're going to do is click View Gross Income. And we see it's $785, so that's correct. The monthly income magnifying glass, if we remember, we can sort by source of income. And we can see that for SSDI, as of 2/7 to 2/19, there was a no. 2/20 for SSDI, there was a yes, so there's no overlap. And he's still getting just SSI of $755. So we see that there's no overlap in our income amounts and there's one answer for everything. Okay, and same thing if he was to tell us that he didn't get food stamps anymore. What we would do, we would change this non-cash benefit from any source from yes to no. We would look for the current answer in here. Click on the pencil for it. Now remember, he was getting $96 as of February 7th, 2019, and now he's not getting anything. And he told us this on 2/20, so we're going to add an end date for 2/19/2019. We're going to click Save. So now again, the HUD verification comes up telling us something's not answered. And we see that SNAP's not answered. And he is not getting it right now. So we click No. And save and exit. And just to view with the magnifying glass, to double check, we're going to sort by source. And we're going to see that as of 2/7, he did have food stamps that ended 2/19. And on 2/20, he did not have food stamps. So there's no overlap. So this is perfect. And if there was any change with health insurance, you'd update that here. Outreach, if this was a date of contact, you'd add one. And if this was the date that you've engaged your client, you want to put the date of engagement in an interim update, but go back to the project entry and make sure all of that data is filled in. Okay, housing move-in date. Again, if the client is not in housing, clear this date as of project start or whenever they were not in housing. If they did move into housing during this update, you would put that housing move-in date here. Okay, and then you click Save and Exit, and you officially did an interim update. Okay, and you click Exit, you'll see there was one interim review done, and you can click it at any time, view it, and what you want to remember is even though you made changes here on 2/20 for $785, if I exit out of this and exit out of this, I can't go into his project start date of 2/7/2019 and click Save and Continue and view that income change. Because remember, it will not show up here because the total monthly income is still $755 as of 2/7. Did not change until the future, so we did not change that here. So do not expect to see changes on the start date. What you will notice is if you go to a previous entry exit or an interim update after you did change, if you click View Gross Income, it's going to show you his current income. So this can get confusing when it comes to data cleanup. But when you click View Gross Income, if something is not matching up, if you can't find $785 in here, which we wouldn't be able to because we didn't add it until 2/20, and this is on 2/7, that means there's something in the future that's messing with his income. It could either be your project or another project. So you just want to check this just to make sure that as of your most recent, I'm going to exit out of this, as of your most recent interim update, click on the pencil, and you just want to make sure that your gross income that you listed up here, your monthly income, matches the gross income. Okay, and you're all set. You've officially completed your interim update.